Good day, students. Let's talk about the second part of the bank account task that we are busy with. In the first video, we talked about the clientable interface class and the abstract superclass. In this video, we're going to improve the content of the test class. According to the assignment on the left-hand side of your screen, we have to change the test class to read information from a text file rather than coding the instructions with data as you can see in the current test class. So the advantage now of having the interface clientable class is that we can create one single array of type clientable, and that array can contain any type of client that is related to the clientable and interface class. This layout shows you that all these different types of objects, client objects, are all linked to the superclass because they inherit from the superclass. The superclass again is linked with the clientable interface class by implementing this class. That means I can create one array of type clientable, and that array will be able to save any one of the client objects. So let's quickly go and look at the code. We're going to just close this and look at the solution. Unfortunately, we've got limited time with the videos, so I can't show you step by step. I'll just show you the code that should be in your solution. First step is to declare your array. And as you can see there, it's an array of type clientable. So it's a general type of client that we declare the array as, and we use square brackets because in this task it's a normal array, not an array list. We also need a counter. Then we need to create an object of the file class. Next statement, we can then call the read from file method to populate the array. Next statement, we'll get the array and assign it to the local array clients, and we get the count, the number of objects stored in the array, and assign it to the local count variable. Alright, so let's quickly look at the content of our file class so that we can read the information from the provided text file that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen into this array client array. So we start the file class by first declaring the array locally in the file class. You can even copy and paste the statements from the test class because it should be similar. Then with the read from file method, it's the same as we did before. We've got the try catch clause. Then inside the try clause, we've got the statement to open the text file. It will be then the content of that text file will be the information that you see on the left-hand side of your screen. Then we have the normal while loop reading from the file, line by line. First statement in the while loop will be to read from the file into a line variable. Then the next statement is always to split up the line into a local temporary array of strings. We use the comma because in the provided text file we have commas that separate the data items in one line. So from there, we analyze or we take items from the info array and assign them to local variables. These variables will be used to create an object or instantiate the different objects. So as you can see from the text file on the left-hand side, the first element in the line of text will be a string that will indicate the type of object to be created. So we place the first element in a variable called type. Following that, we place the surname, which is item 1 in the info array, into the name variable. The name, that's Wayne in the first instance. We put Wayne into the name variable, and then Patel into the surname variable from the info array. Then the ID number will go into the ID number variable. Contact from the info array will go into the contact number variable. The last item in the first line, general item in all the lines of text, will be your balance. The savings account also goes up to balance. Again, check account goes up to balance from the text file. The student line of text will go up to balance, which is 8,500, but students have an initial variable or piece of data, which is the bursary amount. So it goes beyond the balance up to bursary amount. For company clients, we have up to balance, but also a bank fee variable or a data item, and also the name of the company as a data item. All right, so all the common attributes will go up to balance, but from balance, only specific objects will have additional data fields. So we extract all the common data fields from the info array. Remember, the info array is of type string. So if you need your item, your data item, to be of another data type, for instance, balance must be a double, you have to first convert your item from the info array to the correct data type and then assign it to a local variable. So after we've extracted all the common attributes, we now go check whether what type of object we should create using the type variable. Please remember that the type variable is not part of the object itself. It's only used to determine which object must be created. It will not be used in the list of arguments. As you can see here for savings client, it will not be used as part of this list of arguments. The arguments must start with the first element or the first attribute of that particular object, which is name and then surname and so on. So using the type variable, we use the if statement to see what type of object must be created. If the type is SA, as explained on the left-hand side, it's a savings client. So then we create a savings client object and then assign it to the array clients position count, which will be 0 the first time. So the next if will test for a student client. So if it's a student client, remember, we need the additional bursary amount. So we extract the bursary amount from info variable statement or data item 6. And then after that, we can create our student client because we've got all the required data items. If it's a check account client, we don't need any additional data, so we can create the object. If it's a company client, we will extract the bank fee, element 6 from info array. Element 7, we'll extract the company name and then create the object and assign it to the client's array. Remember, for each line of text, only one of the if statements will be executed, because it will only be one of those specific type of clients. So after one of the if statements has been executed, we increment the counter because we've added an object to the array, and then jump back to the start of the while loop. And all of this will be done again with the next line of text. All of this will be repeated. The while will check whether there's a next line of text, and everything will be done again for the next line of text, and so on until all the lines of text will be read and all the clients will be placed in your array clients array. After the while loop has been done, the file must be closed. Please remember to do that. This is followed by the end of the try clause and your catch clause. So this is the read from file method. Then we need a getter to return the array, the populated array, to the test class. The type, remember, is again a clientable array that we will return to the test class. We also need a get method to return the number of objects, the count variable, to the test class. So once this is done, I'm back in my test class. I have all the code here, reading from the file and returning the array and the counter. Then I can do the display method. The display method is a static local method. I transfer my array, the clientable array, as a parameter to my method as well as the counter. In the method, I make use of count to control the for loop. Inside the for loop, I extract or I obtain the array client number k, which is 0 at this stage, assign it to a local clientable variable, and then use client.toString to display the information on that object. The 4 will go back, k will become 1, and then client number 1 will be extracted to the client variable and displayed, and so on. So once this is done, hopefully your task will work. If not, please see the explanation here as well. It's explained here in the task itself, everything that you have to do up till the end, and also an example of the output that you should see once you get your program running. So good luck with this assignment.